ready.
And hello everyone, welcome back. That's not supposed to be here. Welcome back to our Limbus Company daily stream. Once again, we're back here with the Leo Association. I welcome you, whoever you are, wherever you're watching from, or whenever you're watching this stream. I will be entirely honest with all of you. I have run out of ideas of what to do in these daily streams, but we still have like 15 of them to go, so I'm just throwing shit at the wall at this point, brother. Yesterday's streams was a joy. That was a really fun unit to use. Had lots of synergy with Ego Gifts, and so he got really powerful really quickly. We had like an excellent ending at that fight there. I was fully convinced that he was gonna die at the end there, and we couldn't revive him, but we pulled through somehow. Let me get some water. Today, though, we're going to use not something that has synergy with each other. I have a full team here of Leo Association characters. The only problem is that they are not very interesting. They don't have a lot of good mechanics. Sorry. They don't have a lot of interesting mechanics. Leo Association is a standard fare unit line, so they are not really that interesting. Most of their kits resumes in if enemy has bleed, we have bleed. If enemy has burn, we do burn. So yeah, there's not much really interesting. So consider today like a buffer episode, something that we're just chilling, just having a good time, just watching the sinners with the Chinese outfits burning things to the ground as they punch them. 5 more hours I can use the numerous ego. Yes, tomorrow will be the episode where we review the blade lineage again and see the ego as well as the new ID. Also, hello old pet meme, how you doing? So today is a bit of a filler episode. I'm not going to be reviewing the Leo Association. There is really nothing to review about them. They're all about if enemy has burn, apply more burn. If any kill enemy with burn, the burn spreads. There's really not much of a gimmick here, like at all. It's literally just if enemy has burn, inflict more burn, do more damage. If your enemy has burn, USP based on burn. Ally has burn, inflict burn, do more burn. It's literally just burn, burn, and burn. As basic that it gets. After all, these are standard fare units. Not to say that just because the unit is a standard fare, it's not an interesting unit. Hell, we have Sync Association East Dawn here, which is a standard unit, but it's very good. It's a very good one. Thank you. Which is a very good one. So today's a bit of a buffer episode, and before I keep on talking and yapping to pad for time, we are going to get started in the dungeon right away, because to remember, today is maintenance day. As it is maintenance day, we have a limited time to clear the dungeon today. If we exceed that time, we do not get access to the dungeon. So without any further ado, let's get down with it. Same as before, I still haven't updated this. I should have updated this afternoon, but rules of the dungeon. How are we going to do this day? To add a little spice to our daily dungeons, this was an effort to add a little spice, make things a little bit more interesting. We will follow the rules here on the screen. We will not be using any Grace of the Stars, no starting buffs, no nothing. We are not going to use any starting Ego Gifts at all. That means when you start the dungeon, you get a selection of like keywords. We're not going to select any of them, and this causes our Ego Gift drops to be randomized. We are not going to search for any gifts as well. We're not going to heal on Chop. And we are not going to revive any sinners. If a sinner dies, we do not get to use them through the rest of the dungeon. If this was a solo run, the solo fight can be retried up to 3 times. If the selected team fully dies, the combatants, that means the Leo Association is fully wiped out, that is game over for the dungeon. We are only going up to floor 5 as usual. There's no point to going further than that. Both for in terms of reward and in terms of challenge, that's not really that interesting, and in terms of time as well. These daily streams do take a little bit of time because I don't wing rate my way to the top. Another thing that is in the rules here that I have not added in is no usage of Starlight whatsoever. That means no pack search, no pack reroll for that matter, and no Starlight fusion gifts, like we don't use wishmaking at all. These are the rules that I'm subjecting myself to in this dungeon. Hello, Ricardo. How are you doing? No, that's Ricardo. Wait, tricked me, didn't you? That's Heathcliff. Hello, Heathcliff. How you doing? Speedrun mirror tree. I'm not a big fan of speedruns. There are certain busted strategies, and one of them is just using Fell Bullet Yiseng to one-shot your allies and one-shot the enemies. But I'm not a big fan of speedruns, honestly. Alright, so we are a burn king. Let's see what we got here. Poise is nice, phlebotomy is healing that we don't have yet. We have extra damage, money, healing on bleed, on self-bleed, and a tier 3 for sinking. Let's go for the Forgotten, that's a very good gift right there. Since we have a full team, we do not need to fear going in the combat anymore. So let's deploy all our goobers, because we have a full selection of Leo Association to deploy and some backup units here. And since today is Maintenance Day, a nice Wednesday, middle of the week, that means it's time to slide up the middle stogie. I thought it was one because today's Maintenance Day. It kind of is. I just have to do it quickly, not speed run. That is the main takeaway here. If it was a speedrun, I was trying to go for the shortest time, but yeah. Pepmin, beat Reflector Ricardo button hard. Congratulations! Enjoy your rewards. And it's a good practice to get that Reflect Trial hard on, because next Reflect Trial we get the exclusive skin for beating it, so yeah. Unfortunately, this is one of my cheap cigars, so... I was needing that. How's everyone week's been doing? We finally reached Wednesday, middle of the week. Just a few more days until the weekend again, just a few more days before more tabletop, which I'm so excited to get back to. Didn't manage to play this weekend because, again, I had issues with rain and the power company not being able to replace the power poles when, you know, it fell down. Hello, VG Glala. Yes, we're using Leo Association today. That means it's burn, burn, and more burn. If the enemy has burn, inflict more burn. If the enemy has burn, inflict more burn count. If the enemy has burn, deal more burn damage. If the enemy has burn, deal more damage. If the enemy has burn, gain sanity. If the enemy has burn, kill the enemy. If the enemy has burn, spread the burn to other enemies. If the enemy has burn, burn the enemy. Burn, 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 burn the enemy. The burn, and the burn, and we burn, we set the burn, and burn, a little bit more of burn, and then you burn the enemy with a burn attack. It's very simple to play Leo Association. Just got the free Hong Lu, might try to uptie. I highly recommend it. He's very strong and he's very fun to play. He doesn't have a cool gimmick. It's just a gimmick like Sync Association where you target the same guy over and over. That is hot. Burn is hot. It has the same gimmick as the Sync Association. You target the same guy over and over, and you know it just wins the clashes. Let's go 1 to 10. How excited are you since the thumbnails are coming? I'd say a solid 8 to 9. I wasn't a big fan of Valentina, to be honest. I was more excited for the middle and for the pinky one, but it's I'd say a 7 and 8. I'll run them. I will do my analysis on them. I'll run the duel. Actually, you make a good point, Heathcliff. I will probably make the next, well, except tomorrow, right? But the next streams to be Nurse Father and Apprentice Duo. That's a good idea. That's a fucking good idea. I'm gonna do that. And hope that Otias doesn't kill Ishmael right away. In any case, I'm not too excited. Was not a big fan of the thumb. Of the 5 fingers, I prefer the pinky and the middle, so the ring is alright too, because the ring has Callisto Honglu, and Callisto Honglu is pure swag. Does anyone have a Wrath counter? Here we go. Yeah, because we need lots of Flaming Res to activate our passives here. Let's go with Flaming Res. Cats are being evil again. Anyway, I'm not too excited, but I'm gonna get them as I get all the IDs. Gonna run my analysis and we're gonna have a fun time. And once we have all the nurse fathers and all the apprentices, it's feeding time, baby. We're gonna make Ryoshu big and round, full of nurse fathers in her tummy. Yum yum. We're gonna do that at Mirror Dungeon Extreme with a fully powered Blade of the House of Spiders Ryoshu. See how ridiculous that gets. Yum yum. Feed me nurse fathers. I'm so hungry. So hungry for nurse father. Man, this attack used to be so cool back in the day. The perfected Death Fist. I wish the director would give some love to the older IDs. Maybe in the future. Maybe when you get the Type 5s or something like that. I'm starting for the Tremor Bird to score 5 times span, though I'm pretty sure it'll be limited in some shape or form so we can spam it, to be honest. Yeah, it also make a Tremor Burn thing a little bit more viable without you have to fill up the entire roster with a mix of Tremor Burns. Because you only have, I think, just 2 Tremor Burn units, which is Lei Hang and Tom Sinclair. That would make it fun. And as we have seen from our Tremor episode for the daily, Tremor Scorch is pretty good. Oh, I love receiving a call for another state. I'm sure that's not a scam. In any case, as we see from our Tremor episode, Tremor Scorch is pretty alright. It's still not as good as Tremor Reverb, which is the yellow one, or the Tremor Souls. Because Tremor Reverb is, you don't need any other effect to do damage with it, you just need Tremor. While Tremor Scorch and Tremor Hemorrhage requires both Bleed and Burn for their respective types, as well as Tremor, of course. Granted, the units that apply Tremor Scorch and Tremor Hemorrhage are more than capable of applying both Tremor and Bleed. Ah man, why did I think about Tremor Bleed again? I kind of want to play Tremor Bleed now. I kind of want to play the N-Corp duo. The N-Corp duo is so fun to play. I mean, Ryoshu and Yiseng. Their combo is genuinely fun to pull off, I mean. Oh yeah, with our book Crime and Punishment coming to an end, and we rapidly approaching our 100th daily stream for Limbus Company, I think I'm gonna use, I was going to do a 90 or when we finish Crime and Punishment, but I decided to go for 100 because it's a better number in my opinion. So once we reach 100 daily streams of Limbus Company, we are going to switch gears here on the channel. We're going to do still Project Moon content. There's still going to be Limbus Company. It's going to be weekly Extreme Dungeons, usually on Thursday, probably. And then we're going to be doing Lobotomy Corporation and Library of Ruina, as well as the tabletop for the Project Moon that I GM for, and sometimes another game, depending on my mood, because I don't want to pigeonhole myself too hard on the Project Moon hole here. I want to play other games too on stream. I want to play other games. Games that I bought and have touched because, hey, this will be a good game to stream. And I'm not going to go too much on this. I know I have been ranting for a few streams about what am I going to do with the channel. What am I going to do with the channel? What am I going to do with the channel? Well, it's that. We're gonna do weekly Mirror Dungeon streams for Extreme, or without the rules of the dungeon thing, just play an Extreme with a team, go, kill, destroy, and have fun with it. And then we're gonna check out I'm gonna redo my Lobotomy Corporation run, because Lobotomy Corporation is very fun. And then we're gonna do Library of Ruina, because I already did Library of Ruina once, might as well do it again, right? Right, let me go back here to narrate the things I usually do here, because this is something I neglect a lot during the streams, is explain my strategy for buying gifts, for utilizing sinners, and etc, etc. Right now we bought Lithograph because that's healing, and we don't have any source of healing right now, and we took Devil's Share because upgraded this gives us damage up. As we see on yesterday's stream, Devil's Share with a few levels of upgrade, which I didn't upgrade, but gives us defense level up, and later on the next level it's gonna give us damage up for any unit that has Lust Affinity, which is the entirety of the Liu Association. Would you like to take a new before spinning the game? Code collecting. Which game are you talking about, Luigi Guala? Limbus? Lobotomy? library, because that's the games I mentioned here. As for other games I'm going to be streaming, it's still a spur of the moment thing. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to be streaming. Ooh, look at that red. Yes, you have tried. You have some playtime on your account, but I'll walk you through it if you want. You have like 6 hours. I can see it. We're friends, my buddy. If you need help, I'll guide you through it. Just understand that you're gonna go for the story. It's not that complex of a game. I'll walk you through it if you want. Hey, after the stream, if you want to start it, just give me a call and we'll do it. I'd love to see your reactions to some of the story beats as well. It's a good story. Another thing that except when I'm doing it solo or duo or trio, I'm not rating much what I choose for the sinners here, because like I said, the Leo Association is a standard fare Steam. They don't have much of a gimmick, like I already explained, burn, burn, and burn. So you're mostly just trying to get a resonance of red, and it's, you know, you do good. There is a BRB. See you soon, Heathcliff Ricardo, Cliff. Alright, let's choose gifts. I will take Ornamental Horseshoe and Midwinter Nightmare. Although we already have something to give us pride, we could go for Rusted Muzzle. That means we're going to be inflicting bleed, burn, and sinking, and have poise on top of that. Oh boy, we got all the colors of the rainbow here. Ooh. Off, AI bot. We could go Emotional Subservience to get that Fire Flower, which is very good for our team. Or we could go Emotional Seduction for the offense level up and the damage up for Lust Affinity. That is 20% damage up for our allies or more burn. If it burn potency. We are a team here. We're a team. So let's go with the thing. Let's go with the Bloody Gadget. Bloody Gadget. Ego Resources. Not that we really need it, but I'll take it. Usually we need ego resources when we're running a duo or trio or solo, because we can only generate the resources that we have an affinity for. If we don't have the affinity for it, can't generate the resources. But with a full team, we really don't have to worry too much about it, because if one character gets staggered, it's not the end of the world, and we're not at a disadvantage of skill slots. Here we go. Fight on, brothers! I was thinking today about blocks again, because I'm making the video that I mentioned. Remember back in the few streams that I promised a video about how to beat Matthias without eating a counter? Yeah, that's coming out. I figured out that the program I use to edit videos has a built-in voice recorder that I can use, so I've been using that and practicing, trying to get it on, and it's coming, it's coming. Trust, it's coming. I said that several times, but trust, it's coming. And I was thinking about the defensive skills in Limbus again, because some of them are just ass, man. Let's take it for example. Oh yeah, I forgot this guy's nuke or sanity. Let's take for example, we have the 3 type of defenses. We have an evade, we have a counter, and we have a block. A counter, when you get hit, you get to hit the enemy back and deal damage, which is very nice, you know, very cool. But unless you're in the middle, that counter isn't gonna do a lot of damage, because to use the counter, you are opening up yourself to receive a attack and to deal an attack back. And again, you're exposing yourself to an attack that can stagger you, by the way, and what's it called? and to status ailments as well, like bleed, burn, unique status ailments for boss gimmicks, and etc. So unless you're in the middle, which can generate their own fields, negate stagger, hit really hard with their counters turn into skill trees. Counter for units that aren't built for counters aren't really that good. And you say, okay, of course, the unit isn't built for counters. But again, you don't have a choice which defensive skill you have when you receive the ID. It's not like everyone has access to evade, counter, and block. When you get an ID and you use that ID, it has its set defense skill. So sometimes the unit has a counter, but he's not built for counters, or doesn't have a really good counter, which doesn't justify the risk reward for a counter. You get hit, and you get to hit back, sure. Maybe if you're going to lose a clash and you want to, you know, hit the enemy, it would be a good choice. But again, you are opening yourself to receive damage. So unless you're in the middle, counter isn't really that good, or unless your character has a clashable counter, but that's something else entirely. The other defensive option that we have for sinners is block. Block sucks. Block is garbage. Unless your name is Dostoyevsky, your block is really weak. For, again, you decide not to attack the enemy, you're not going to be dealing any damage, you're just going to put a shield up to protect yourself by your roll, and then the enemy gets to attack you, and that's it. The enemy attacked you, you receive damage, you block some of the damage by your roll, and that's it. Here's the problem with that. The defense rolls for IDs, unless again you're Dostoyevsky or in the Y, are extremely low. Extremely low. So your shield, the one that you get for going your attack to defend yourself, is not enough. You usually get hit for much harder than what your defense skill can actually do, or actually tank. And worst of it all, much like counter, and counter I understand the risk reward there, that you're getting hit to hit the enemy back, but with a block, you're getting hit and you're not doing anything to the enemy. When you get hit with your block, with your shield, you are still gaining negative ailments like burn, bleed, etc, etc. So it really isn't worth it unless you're gonna lose a clash. It's like a hopeless clash and you don't have an eagle to use. It's really not worth using a normal block. Again, unless you're Dostoyevsky or in the Y. And then you have evade. Evade is you don't clash with the enemy, so they don't get clash power effects and such, or offense level effects. And if you outroll the enemy, you don't take damage at all, 0. And you get to reuse that evade against subsequent attacks. Of course, if you roll low, as most evades usually have a very high coin power and low base power, so you are always at the mercy of RNG to some extent. Unless you have a full sanity, then it's a 5% chance at all times to fumble your evade and get hit. But do you see the difference here between the other two options? This one negates all damage, you don't receive ailments, and you get to reuse it for subsequent attacks as well. Counter, you counter once. You get hit, you counter once. Guard, you raise your guard, you block a pathetic amount of damage, still receive ailments, and, well, there's nothing else. You're done. The shield remains for the rest of the combat, and it can be used for other attacks that are going to hit you, but it's really not worth it. It's simply bad. It's really, really bad. Anyway, I was thinking about that because I'm making the video about counters. They need to give some love to some parts of the game, honestly. Just buff the hell out of guard, make guard like gain double the amount rolled as shield, and if you have a shield gained through a block, you don't receive normal status ailments. And counter just needs to be stronger in general for non-middle units. That's my humblest of opinions here, as someone who played the game for a little bit. Anyway. We bought Heightened Silly Shoes because that gives us haste and offense level for the third deployed identity that uses Pierce. We have some of those. We got Headless Portrait because that's sinking potency on every enemy at the start of the round. Oh, enemies with less than 0 SP. And Prejudice because that is a baller healing eagle, and we have used it a few times. We're going to upgrade Devil Chair to give everyone damage up because everyone has a less skill. And we're going to upgrade Rusted Muzzle to deal bleed on hit. So now we inflict sinking, bleed, and burn. We got all the colors of the rainbow here. We're going to mess around with our deployment order a little bit. Let's see. No, it's actually perfect. The only unit with the most pierce skills here is Leo Rodia with 2 pierce skills. So here we go. Exactly my point, Isaac. And not for the counters though. Counters should remain as like, I take a hit, I get to hit you back. But the hit needs to be way harder. They can give them some beefier counters, you know? It's not a problem to give them a beefier counter. Again, the counter king of this game will always be the middle, as, you know, it's the middle. They are all about getting hit and hitting back. They are brawlers, essentially. But they could give some love to units that have a counter but are not, like, the middle. And block is literally just a matter of make the block beefier and make the block, as long as you have shield generated by block, you do not receive status ailments, unless it's a unique status ailment like a mark or something of the kind. Because my logic here is, if I'm blocking an attack, right, enemy rushed me with a sword, I raised my sword and intercepted him mid-air, blocking it, right, I am not getting hit. The sword did not touch me. His flaming sword of 5 burn count did not touch my flesh, my tender sweet flesh. So I shouldn't be receiving that status ailment, right? I can make I make an exception like it's an abnormality doing something because they are, you know, they break the rules as they're supposed to. But for normal enemies and maybe even a few bosses too, fuck bosses too, you shouldn't be getting ailments from blocking their attacks. Assuming you block it, of course. You need to have a shield first. If they go through your field, you're getting hit, buddy. You're taking those ailments. I think that would make everything just a little bit more, you know, worthwhile. And it's like, hold on. It's the whole thing about action economy. Because if you choose not to attack the enemy, use an evade or a block. If you're choosing not to attack the enemy and interact with the action economy, you are hurting yourself for no reason. Unless you really don't have a choice because the clash is hopeless and you want to reduce the damage. But still, it's so little of reduction of damage that it doesn't really make all that difference. So I'm better off just, you know, either ignoring the clash altogether and going for a one-sided attack and get hit one-sided as well if I have the option. No. Now, defensive skills have been getting a lot better with the addition of clashable counters, clashable guards, and all of that. But then again, the power creep of older IDs remain. I am more of a, like, I know it's a gacha, I know power creep is going to be real. The more recent IDs are going to always be more powerful. I just personally think it's sad to leave these older IDs in the dust, there to rot in the power creep hell. It's just my opinion. I rather prefer to rework something that is weaker and to buff everyone altogether, other than just keep piling on more stronger units with these things fixed instead of giving the older ones something as well, retroactively affecting all of them. Of course, that is a lot easier said than done. I'm not stupid, I'm not dumb most of the time. I understand that changing something like that will, in a system that has like a bunch of moving pieces already, will inevitably break so many others because the studio is still human after all. They can't predict every single interaction in the game for every single ID. So let's say we add this, make the blocks generate like twice as much shield as their roll, and now you don't receive status ailments. And then small bugs, like the easiest bug would be like, oh, you don't receive status ailments while you have a block, right? So if you're supposed to receive a positive one, you're not going to be receiving it. And that would be an oversight, a bug that would be fixed. But something like a boss fight completely breaks because you used a block and negated a specific status effect and stuff like that would be expected. So because the system's already moving, there's so many moving parts, you change one thing and it might break everything else. But sometimes that's why you have a testing team. That's why you can do, you know, branches of the game during development to, you know, let's try this out and see how it goes. If it goes well, we consider it, we do further testing, see if it can be implemented, see if it's going to be good, and implement it. But again, this is me a player with like 1,800 hours, probably more at this point. Sorry, no, sorry, not 1,800 hours, 2,800 hours. I played this for a little bit. I feel like that would be a good change for the game. But I am not the developer. I'm not gonna tell them what to do. I'm just voicing my opinion because I look at the defense skills for my team here and I say, man, why would I ever use this? This is garbage. Why would I? Let's take Ryoshu here. She has a 16 guard. When are we gonna use a 16 guard instead of trying to do attacks? Or better yet, use an ego, right? Same thing here. Let's see. Rodion has a counter. Rodion has a counter that hits for 16. That's sure, that's a skill 2 basically, but why would I use this instead of the skill 2 that actually applies burn? Unless I don't have it available or the clash is gonna be hopeless. But wait, no, actually the clash is hopeless. I'm just gonna pop an ego. I'll just pop in the Constryer or 4th Match Flame and that's it. So that's why Evade currently mogs everything else unless you're in the middle or gets Erosion. Anyway, enough ranting, enough ranting. Let's get down. One aspect of the game that they don't use is offense level. Like, when was the last time you got an ED with negative levels there? They use it plenty on the mirror dungeon and to show how stronger this is, because they want to weave lore with the gameplay, and they are rectifying some of the, or at least they did rectify it a little bit, the level things, at least on Kin's Kanto. It's because they want to weave the narrative with the gameplay, and defense level pretty much serves as a way for them to make units higher level without increasing the, what's it called, the numbers. Example, Isaac. We all know that Rian Yiseng, or Index Yiseng, rolls really fucking high. He hits really good. But do you know why he hits really good? It's not because he has high number. No. Rian Yiseng has normal numbers, normal clash numbers for his kit. When I say normal, I think I look at the skill 1, 2, and 3 and see their base values plus whatever level escalation they have. He has a normal 11, 16, and a skill 3. Of course, we're not going to talk about Furioso right now. Furioso is a special thing for him, but he has normal numbers. What he does different than other IDs is that he has a lot of buffs for damage and offense levels. The higher your offense level, the more clash power you have in the clash, and the more damage you do. Offense level and defense level usually rise together with your character level. In this case here we have more offense level because of buffs, but that doesn't count here at the moment. So when your character level rises, their offense level rises as well. This way they can just raise offense levels without altering the base numbers of an attack, so we don't have like this much of a number below in the future, like a guy that has a 50 base power attack with a 10 coin power should show he's powerful, you know? He has a base power, coin power, and what makes him clash real hard and hit real hard is the offense level. They use this plenty already. It's just that it's something that happens so automatically during the game that you don't really pay attention to it. It's nice to understand how it works. It's nice to see how it works, but it's more about doing informed decisions during mirror dungeon. How fragile would an enemy be with 0 defense level? Let me go over here real quick, the wiki, because I don't remember the formula for the top of my head for how defense level works, but he would be very, very vulnerable. Let me send this guy to fight. Right, where is offense level, defense level, defense level. Defense levels, here we go. So, let me read this. Let me read it out loud for you guys, so you guys can keep up with the conversation here. I'm gonna lower Limbus for a little bit. Give it a second. All right. Offense and defense levels are stats every unit possesses that scale with their level and affect the clash power and damage of skills. Every unit possesses a base offense and defense level equal to their level. The offense level is applied to all of the unit's skills as well as ego. Each attack skill may also possess an offense level modifier specific for that skill that either increases or decreases the overall offense level. Similarly, every unit also possesses a defense level equal to their current level and the unit's defense level modifier, which each of their defense skill possess their own defense level modifiers separate from the units. Defense levels cannot go below 1. The formula of defense levels are, there's a math formula here, I'm going to read it, where level is the resulting level, units the unit's original level, blah, 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 blah. Offense level and defense level affect combat in 2 ways. In a clash between 2 skills, the skill with a higher offense or defense level usually gains additional clash power. However, in a clash between an attack and a non-clashable defense skill, only the defense skill can gain power and gains final power instead of clash power. The skill with higher level gains 1 power per 3 level difference, rounded down. For example, if I have 4 more offense level than the skill that I'm clashing, I'm only gonna gain 1 power. When dealing damage with attack skills, the difference between the attacker's offense level and the defender's defense level additionally modifies the damage dealt on top of resistances following the following formula, which I'm not gonna read. There used to be a, let me find here, there used to be a, fence, there we go, found it. There you go, there we go, there we go, there we go. So for damage change for hitting someone, offense versus defense level, I might as well do this. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I can just do this. There we go, there we go. Oh. So for every level of difference in defense offense level, you gain a damage modifier. Here you go. So if an enemy has 1 defense level and get hit by an attack with 100 offense level, that is an 80% more damage on top of, you know, whatever else, resistances or whatever. What about the unbalanced way the tankiness of IDs grow? Both defense level and IP grows as time goes, and so IDs are just tankier. Every ID has a base health value. You remove the display capture. Every ID has a base HP value, and that HP value increases with level as well. Same for enemies. This is how HP is calculated on the Mirror Dungeon as well, when you get stuff like, you know, increases the enemy HP for, it's called, Mountain Trials. So every unit has a base HP, and the base HP is multiplied by level. We don't get these stats in game, I believe. I can check actually, but the higher your level, the more HP you have. The amount of HP you have is dependent on their base HP. So this is again reflecting that the game is all about. There we go. I didn't know you could click that. Didn't know you could click that. That is great. Holy shit. Learning something new every day, right? So I don't think we get we don't get the stats of like a base unless we de-level the unit, but your HP is, every ID has an HP, and etc, etc. Tremor Decay is excellent. Tremor Decay, consider like this. With this information that we have reviewed about the offense-defense level, consider that applying Tremor Decay on an enemy lowers their defense level to every attack that hits them. So it's on top of working like normal Tremor, which raises the stagger threshold, you are giving the enemy a debuff that your entire team can make use of by hitting them. If I recall correctly, and I don't, that's why I'm consulting the wiki, Tremor Decay essentially works as a fragile of sorts. Let me find it here. Tremor Decay inflicts 1 defense level down for every 4 tremor potency. If an enemy is at 99 tremor potency, they will suffer 24 defense level down. which equates roughly to about 50% more damage from all damage sources except, ailments. So everyone in your team, assuming the enemy is like at max tremor decay, will be doing more damage against that target. That's why it's a good tremor. Of course, tremor still suffers the problem that it doesn't deal direct damage to the enemy HP. So, I mean, more that when an ID level up, 2 defense stats grow while 1's offensive gun grows. So I just have overall more tanky. Sort of. Here's the thing. Every skill of the unit has a offense level multiplier. Let me show you. Not a multiplier, a value. As soon as he's done here punching this guy. And they cleared it. So, every skill in an ID has a value of offense level. That is the value for that attack. We go here. Go for Rhodia again. Rhodia has a 62 offense level on her skill 1. She has 62 on the second and 62 on the third. Other IDs, let's say this boy here, sometimes they have a little bit of a difference here. It's very minor. 65 here on this one, Blazing Strike, so it hits harder and clashes harder. While defense skills, you have your base defense level here. This is your overall armor. Consider this like your armor. This is your base defense level. When you use a defense skill, you take the value of the defense level and override your original one if it's higher or lower. And this is on top of physical resistances. This is on top of sin affinity resistances. It's a lot of moving parts. Like I said, that's why I don't say like, just add more block, just make them tankier. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's a lot of moving parts in system, and knowing about them isn't going to change the gameplay too much, because it is just passive knowledge so that you can make informed decisions. That's why when I say, if you're doing the Mirror Dungeon Extreme, to go for offense level over Clash. That 65 versus 60 is the same as 55, but it has like 5 HP. Not true. Imagine, if you will, you're clashing against Leihang. Leihang has 60 offense level. Your character, because he's under-leveled, has 50 offense level. Leihang is gaining 3 clash power on you. That was the entire arc around Leihang. He was such high level compared to our Sinners that his offense level was in the roof. And so when he clashed against us, not only he gained a shit ton of clash power, he also dealt a shit ton of extra damage. And then Dante unlocked the very broken ability Morositas, where we take everyone's offense and defense level and even it out. So Isaac, for example, there's been a video going around of Chunokun Honglu beating Leihang at level 1. You know that why it doesn't impress me? Because the fight against Leihang has Morositas active from the get-go. So if you're level 1 with like a little 1 offense level, fighting Leihang with like 90 offense level, and Morositas active, we're gonna take the offense level over level 1, the offense level of Leihang, and we're gonna average it out, and now everybody is on a level playing field. This is the game's way to tell this guy is strong. He has a high offense level. His base numbers have not changed. He still rolls a 11. He still rolls a 16 on his attack. He still rolls, I don't know, 23 with his skill tree. But because he has such a high offense level, he can clash harder and hit harder. This way, we can level up units without altering their base numbers and keep everything nice and middle ground. The only thing that is changing, really, is the damage dealt. So enemies that are on the same level as your Sinners are going to be taking damage and dealing damage at a normal rate because our offense-defense levels are, the same. If we're trying to fight an enemy... If we're trying to fight an enemy that is higher level, we're going to have issues clashing against that enemy. and we're going to be receiving more damage, while we are going to be dealing less damage because we have a higher defense level. However, the reason I mentioned this before, the reason why I say to always go for offense levels in the mirror dungeon is strictly because offense levels can be modified. There are plenty of gifts and plenty of skills and abilities that can modify your offense defense level, and there is very few of them that doesn't. There's very few skills that modify the enemy base power. Plus coin drop is rare, so we have like 3 units that can do it, 4 units. Power down is slightly the rest rare, but still good. And offense defense level down in the story doesn't matter that much. You don't have the eagle gifts, and the mirror dungeon it does make a difference. Leverage is lay hang for the overall high HP is net positive for survivability. If you're fighting enemies of your same level, they're also gonna have high HP, the highest HP. So if you keep ahead of the curve, you keep up with the levels, everyone is still on a level playing field. Is it the pearl? You're targeting the pearl? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Go, my little red sinners! Burn this thing to the ground! Levels here in this game is less about being over-leveled for a fight, especially in story content. It's less about being over-leveled because you can't really over-level for a fight. No, they're not really that. Enemies are going to be tankier if they are same level with you. They're going to be equal. That's the point. The levels, offense level, defense level, especially in the story, is less about you being over-leveled because you can't over-level because levels are capped per canto. It's more about you keeping up with the rising power. So when you're fighting an enemy at the same level as you are on a level playing field. You both have the same offense level. You both have basically the same numbers. It's just the gimmicks that change. So the fight is all about understanding what the enemy does and how to prevent him from doing that in the first place. If you are below hidden level, not only are you going to be taking more damage, you're going to be losing more clashes, and you are going to be have less health as well. So you really don't get over-leveled or over-tanky in this game. Maybe in the mirror dungeon when enemies in the early mirror dungeon, but you do remember that in the mirror dungeon, every time you go up in the floor, the enemy gain levels as well, on top of the mounting trials. While your sinners don't, unless you take certain graces of the stars. For example, if we're going to look at our sinners right now, they are level 60. The enemies that we're fighting are level 60-something. Let's check on the boss fight here. Wrist guards, hell yeah. Phlebotomy for more healing, we're doing good. Give me a refresh, bartender. Meat tenderizer, hell yeah. We get some enhancements here. We get bleed, we get damage, and we get this. Let's start doing that. We're gonna fuse gift here for charge, for the UPS system, if we can. Come on, come on, come on. Roll. Ah, that's good. That's good too, that's good too, that's good too. Alright, let's go take a look at the boss's level here. Indeed. That's the main point. That's the thing that is mostly changing. Was it fourth deployed? It's Ryoshu. Ryoshu, you don't really have that much of a need for that gift, so I'm going to change the order here. The main thing there is changing from older IDs to newer IDs is that older IDs had their base values kind of low with no escalation. It's this guy again. Look at that. Like, he's level 68. We are level 60. His attacks have higher offense level. It has a -1 because of the skill. But if we're compared to our characters right now with no modifiers, she has a 61. The guy has a 68 offense level. He has, I think, at least 2 extra clash power against this attack. See the problem here? And he's going to be doing more damage based on our defense level. Again, knowing all of this about offense defense level isn't going to change how you play the game, but it's good to understand to make informed decisions. So as the mirror dungeon progresses, the enemy gain levels, they deal more damage. Back to what we were saying, Isaac, the main thing about older IDs is that they lack escalation, their their base numbers, coin power and base power, are all over the place in terms of balancing. And who's getting attacked by that one? Why can't I deal with it? All right. Hold on. Anyway, their base power and coin power is all over the place. They don't have escalation. Escalation is that thing that I talk about where if the enemy has burn, we gain coin power. If I have poise, I gain coin power, etc., etc. And of course, the damage buffs as well, which a lot of the newer IDs have a lot. Going back to our example of Ri and Yisang, Ri and Yisang has a fuck ton of damage ups because of the marked skill for the Will of the Prescript, the marked target of the Will of the Prescript, Grace of the Prescript gives him more offense levels. He just has a lot of things stacked in his favor. But his base numbers and the base numbers of pretty much every recent ID follow the same pattern, where the first skill without escalation rolls a 11, the second skill rolls a 16 max, and then the third skill is a bit of a mix-up because it can go 16 or 19, but they usually have a lot more escalation or other buffs that make them deal atrocious amounts of damage. So this is a symptom of like they're finding their balancing as they go. And as a result, the older IDs have suffered because of it, because now they're finding a nice ground to balance everything around, like 11, 16, and then skill 3. But the older IDs don't have that, and they don't have escalation as well. In regards to HP, its base power system is flawed. It has flaws, but it's better than a lot of systems that I played before. I'll tell you that much. 84, huh? Yeah. Kill him. Kill him now. The game is flawed. The game is not perfect, but for a turn-based game, it works. There's lots of flaws. There's power creep because it is a gacha game. And because it is a gacha game, they can't really mess with balance too much. We saw what happened when they tried to do it with the Moused fiasco, Heisho Faust. So they have to balance these things before it gets released, because if you start messing with balance as the game is, because it's a gacha game, it's gonna die to burn. Because if you mess with the balance of the game, it's going to piss people off because people put money into the game. But I don't see anyone getting pissed off that the older units get a power-up, Maybe some individuals will say, I paid money for this unit. I rolled for this unit. How do you mean you're powering up the older units now? Now my unit that I paid money for is not as strong. Some individuals might do that. I'm making a straw man here. It's a fallacy, but I've seen people do that. It's not really a fallacy when it really happens. Some people might do that. But honestly, they just should buff the older IDs, man. Give it a little love. All right. Murder on the Warp, Crushers and Breakers, or Yield My Flesh. Crushers and Breakers. They have a lot of blunt damage. I don't know what Morimis is, but who knows? Who knows? Is that they really badly handled or moused? And I think they got a little scared of doing that again. In the middle, hello. Anyway, we'll wait and see to what they do. I don't hold my breath for a older unit power up. They have been doing something similar to it, which again, it's a little of a band-aid solution, but they started this idea of the team captain, which I adore. I love the idea of the team captain. If you don't know what it is basically when they create a new ID that will buff the IDs from that same team. So you take like an ID, say Blade Lineage Mentor for the Blade Lineage, that is Bubblehead Mercel. You take Kurokumo Ishmael for the Kurokumo clan. You take Ricardo Heathcliff for the middle. This team captain exists. He buffs the hell out of everyone, and they can suddenly fight. They can fight good. This is one of their solutions I came up with, which is a bit of a band-aid solution. It's not really empowering the older units unless you have that one unit, but it's a cool solution. I like the idea. I just wish they would give the base units a little bit more power, or bring them up to the modern standard of the units they have been making. Because like I said, the standard now is to have 11, 16, whatever, and then have 1 or 2 levels of escalation so that they can do good damage. As soon as we're done here, and assuming we're not done with the maintenance, I'll show you what I mean about the recent units compared to an older one. Again, it's possible they could do it, especially after the director said that it's my game. I could have sold it to China. I didn't. I'll do whatever the fuck I want with my game. Stop telling me what to do with it. It's possible they could do a balance patch and have some people sieve over. They could buff the older units. There will be some individuals that will do that thing that the strawman that I did. I'm sure of it. And as long as they don't nerf the recent units and rather bring the older units up to power, I think it will do fine. But again, it creates the problem that maybe these older base units... Well, no, that's not a problem, really. What I was thinking is like, oh, wouldn't the buffing the older units break the early game? And I then remembered, this is the Library of Ruina. You can get a modern unit, a new unit, at the beginning of the game's story and just blitz through it because they're much more powerful than what those cantos were balanced around. Ooh, this is not looking good. Let's use Great Chichiro Cost. It's been a while. Gregor just block. You just use another one. Let's do a big boom combo here. I want to see burn. I want to see fire. Hell yeah. I want to see fire today. See ya, Heathcliff. Thank you, and catch you next time. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you can. I would be very happy if you did. Oh, they broke the aesthetics. When are they gonna fix this, man? It was such a cool effect when it happened. Single point stab. I think the main issue really is if they're scared of doing balance is the backlash for Moust, because they want to, if they want to bring down the power level of some units to not get everything to blow out of proportion in terms of damage, people will look at it wrong instead of buffing the older units. But that creates the problem of buffing the older units instead of buffing the new units, or nerfing the new units, or making combat harder. It's a tangled web of stuff. Again, video games are hard. Video games are difficult. They are a lot of moving parts altogether, and you move one, you might break all the others. Another interesting thing here, since we're talking about defense levels, I'm yapping a lot about that, I don't mind, is Eagles. Eagles don't usually have high offense levels. Did you know that? They usually have lower offense levels, just that they have really high base power and a high coin power to boot. Punch! Punch! Punch on fire! This is a fire! Obliterated. Obliterated. Like, check it out. Let's take a look here. 63 offense level, 61 offense level, 59 offense level on the first one, compared to her base skills of Rodion here, which is 62, 64, 64 because of the buffs we have right now. It's really funny. It's just that Eagle have a high base power, really. If you look at the little brothers right now, they are level 71 and we're level 60. Their attacks are hitting with a 78 attack weight offense level. That's why our clashes are hopeless. That's why if they hit us, they're going to obliterate us. Because look at that offense level compared to our offense level. For Yiseng, for example. Our offense level is 62. 62 to a 71, that is at least 3 levels of difference. He has 3 clash power on top of me, plus the extra damage. This is how mouse work. Her creatures will only assist defense to begin with. It's, again, they wanted to nerf her to not do as much damage, and it created that whole problem I was talking about. It's that, so first, to be able to use that ability, you have to build up stacks for it. But it's easy to build up those stacks, so it's not really a problem. But still, they should make it harder to activate, at least. But then again, you combine all of the things that we're talking about here, that move all these moving pieces together, and let's put it like this. They didn't nerf Mouse, and she is very powerful, right? That means, combined with the ability to grind for any unit in the game, and since there is no timed units, except for Walpurgis is in the event from Arknights, you can technically at any moment roll for any unit in the game, or shard then, except for the ones of the previous season. If we can make any type of hard fight that we want, right? We can make the enemies as maliciously evil as we want, because you have powerful units. You can acquire that powerful unit at any moment. This is, of course, kind of disgusting when you think about it, because, oh, it's a gacha game, they want your money. Yes, they want your money. They specifically tell us that they want money. But they still have the Library of Ruin mindset in their head that if you fail a fight, you could probably try again with a different strategy, or, you know, get a better team. You know, go grind for books in the library, get a better unit to deal with this fight. That's what's kind of happening on the Reflect trial, with, like, you get a buff if you use this certain type of attacks. It doesn't specifically say use the middle or use the Heishos or use the ring. It's just that the ring happens to be a unit that will be better suited for this because they have these specific status ailments. Except for Ricardo. Ricardo gets the funny, ah haha, your guys are from the middle, right? Ah, tricked me, did you? Which is a funny interaction, which denotes some level of sentience from that Reflect trial clone of his, that's just kind of concerning. Does Zilu only use it as an assist defense, so why does Mouse get to on a normal S3? I don't know, man. Zilu during that fight was holding back, so maybe that. She was holding back, she had less offense level, same thing as Jashu, he had lower offense level. And that was him holding back, mind you. He didn't want to kill Honglu. Of course, he would beat the fuck out of him and everyone involved, because he knows everyone can be revived. But that wasn't his goal. His goal was to beat the fuck out of Honglu so that Honglu would finally answer him. So if we unleash Zilu full power using her skill tree with the Ascended Heisho power, it wouldn't be too much be a fight where he gets the answer out of Honglu, would it? And again, this might be me coping or reaching a little bit about this, but Project Moon likes to play its gameplay with the story very closely, so it's very likely that was the reason. We never got a Reflect trial or a big fight where, what's it called, we fight Zilu full power, you know? Every time we fought her, she was holding back. The big fight on Kanto H protects the big dude whose name I forgot on big skill turn. That's Jashu, right? Yeah. the cigar tried to fight back. It's the burn season, baby. Happy burn season. Fight evil Christmas gnomes. Karate punch a gnome in the face. If someone thought Zulu Worship was not holding back and survived, we probably got a lot stronger version of Malphal, so Singing was thinking. Yeah, the only person that fought her maybe full power was Ricardo. Blame you. The only thing that I think it's too overpowered on Mouse right now is that she doesn't really need that many stacks of the Tiandru Blade Star to really get her Spectral going. Because the whole thing about Zilu is that she has that cool sealed sword, right? And then you build up charges to actually unseal the sword. That's a cool mechanic. That's anime as fuck, and we love that. We love the Evil Curse sword. We love the Evil Curse sword in this house. I'm sorry, but yeah. Like bleed. Is for bleed. We don't use bleed. Let's get some damage up in this baby. Meat Tenderizer level 2 for true skills now. True units gaining flash power that we so desperately need. So I just think the amount of stacks that you consume or need to activate her thing should be higher. That's all. That's better. That's better. We love the cursed sentient weapon in this house. It's your waifu. It's your raifu. Yeah, I sleep with my sword. I go to bed with my sword. I hug it and it tells me wonderful things. My sword calls me the Thud Muffin. Does your sword call you a stud muffin? I didn't think so. That's why my sword is superior. My sword tells me I did a good job killing 15 people today. She's very happy that I did it. She said it was their souls were very good. That's why my sword is better than yours. Ooh, we're losing all the clashes here. Again, standard fare old IDs. They are not built for this, cuh. Even with the power-ups, even with the clash powers, the bow is just kicking our asses because he is much stronger. Again, he's currently level 71 with 76 or 80 offense levels. Do you see this? Do you understand now? Do you understand now how bad offense level is? Again, we're mostly here to make informed decisions when we talk about offense-defense levels. The main problem is that we didn't get any good gifts to lower his defense level. So we are getting our asses kicked because of it. Of course, we can compensate with pure power using eagles, which is exactly what we're going to do. And the rest is unopposed. And again, AAD, for example, for Gregor here, does not have a high offense level. This just has a high base power, +5 from the coin. So even if this unit has a lot of offense level, we can still beat it. This is the importance of offense-defense levels. Understanding how they work will not change your gameplay one bit. Because on the fight, and here selecting the skills, we're still looking for that beautiful dominating. But understanding how they work is important to make informed decisions during your mirror dungeons, extreme or not. I often go selecting offense level on enemies because with the certain gifts, we can lower the enemy offense level into something more manageable, as well with other gifts that increases our offense level. No, he has a really high offense level. He has a really high offense level on top of some good rolls. Let's take a look at his skills after we're done with the animation here. Right. Check out those skills, baby. 6 base power with 5 coin power, true coins, blunt wrap. This rolls a 15. 15 is basically a skill 2. This one here rolls a 10 with a 6. That's 16, assuming he rolls heads. But because it's an abnormality, he always rolls 50-50. This skill here, 6, 4, 4, 4. 3 coins, 4 coin power. That is 10, that is 14, that is an 18. That is basically a skill 3. Skill, the yellow skill, rolls a 15 base with a 5 coin power. That's a 20, baby. The other skill here, that is a 19, and that is a 19, and he gains attack power if he win the clashes with these skills, as well as the yellow one, making you lose SP and raise your stagger threshold. These are not super high numbers. Most modern IDs can clear these numbers very easily with a little bit of escalation. The problem is that he is also having an immense amount of offense level right now. Because not only is he higher level than us, the mounting trials that we have selected for him, which are right here, are giving him an additional 6 offense level on top of the higher level. So he is a clash beast right now. He's a monster. He's an abnormality. And because we have a much lower offense level, and levels in general, we are not clashing as good. We have a +1 here, +1 power, and that's it. But since it's a skill 3 with extra coin power for every 6 burn on target, we have a good escalation. For example, Yiseng here has a 4 base power with 3 coin power, 4 coins. With 4 coins, that makes it a 12, a 16 base roller. And then we add 1 coin, 1 power to every one of these coins, and it becomes +4 here. It becomes 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. On Canto 4, I don't remember. It didn't have the modern IDs, sure, but Canto 4 I don't remember. It's still not that high number, to be entirely honest. We could clear it. And even if you couldn't clear it with an attack, you could do some other shenanigans with egos and etc. That's the thing. That's the thing I love about the system. It has a lot of complexity, which you can modify and alter to your liking. For example, since everything is tied about hitting the enemy, if you have, for example, Yiseng's skill here, you can lower his attack power by 2 by simply hitting. This is a tier 4 uptight version one, sure, but still, 2 attack power gone, 2 bind, and haste to everyone next turn. Same for other egos that do similar things. So, going back to Yiseng here, if this became a 4-4-4-4 with a single level of escalation here, enemy has 6 burn, so we are rolling a 4-4-8, 16, that's 20. And with another level of escalation, it becomes a 24. Assuming we roll all heads, that is. And the enemy has to have 12 burn. That's escalation, baby. That's what makes the modern IDs much more powerful. They escalate their damage up and up and up. The other IDs, the older here, they have 400 IDs here. They don't work very good. They don't have that escalation. Like Merso here has an 11 roller with no escalation. Skill 2, it is a... this is a 13 roller with no escalation. Skill 3, he gains 1 coin power. Oh, 1 escalation. That is a luxury. 5-3-3-3. That is a 14, and it becomes a 12, a 17, basically. So you see the problem. They standardize the amount of power the IDs get, and the other units kind of get left behind in the dust with no extra power, you know? That's what is hurting them. But thankfully, one thing about the bow is that it doesn't have a lot of slots for, attacks. So that makes him particularly vulnerable to having a lot of sinners. Of course, back then we couldn't deploy all the sinners, but there still was going to be a sinner that could probably deal with whatever the bow was throwing her way. Where are you clashing, buddy? Go. Again, all of these I'm talking about doesn't alter your gameplay in any way, shape, or form. I forgot to raise Limbus volume. I'm apologizing now. Sorry. The game was so low, I forgot to, because I was doing the reading thing. My apologies. My apologies, my friends. So, knowing all these numbers game doesn't change the way you play it, but it's good to make informed decisions. And understand how ID works better. So you understand, the guy has burn, I'm gonna do it automatically, but it's automatic, you don't have to worry about it. Enemy has burn, you do more damage, you gain more coin power, you do more fun stuff. In the end of the day, the most important thing you can learn about Limbus combat is how to redirect attacks, how to offset defenses, how to read the enemy's abilities and nullify them, and all that good stuff. How to use debuffs, how to use certain egos to your advantage. Like, for example, if I were to inflict paralysis on him, it would make my life a lot easier because he couldn't roll for shit. But I don't have paralysis right now, so it's not going well. Right now, we don't want him to win clashes because every time he wins a clash with his attack, he gains an attack power up. So here's what we're gonna do. This is something that is worthwhile learning in Limbus, is speed and redirection. Right now, he has 2 body parts. We must understand that debuffs are applied per body part. If we apply the offense level down or power down on the head, the attacks that the body are doing are not going to be afflicted by that power down. I want my sinners to win clashes against this creature. So, Yi Sang has rolled a 6 in speed, he's very fast, he's gonna go first. So I'm gonna have him attack the head, which is using the blue attacks, with his ego, lowering his attack power by 2. But I'm gonna have him do that, one-sided. Follow it up with Ledgerdane from Gregor, and then the rest of my team will actually attack him. Now, he will be debuffed by 2 power down, and will gain 4 paralysis on top of that. Meaning that it's very likely that Hong Lu is going to win his clash. It's very likely that Merso is going to win his clash, although I'm not very confident about your ability to win clash because you're a 0-0 unit and you kind of suck. So we're going to make him use an Eagle as well. That leaves us this final attack here that is going for Rhodia. Rhodia can go there and deal with that as a treat. But Rhodia goes first than everyone else, so if I send her to attack this, he is going to win that clash and gain a power-up, which we don't want him to do because she's going to be the first. So we are going to ensure that she's going to win that by having her use an Eagle. Not an overclocked one, sorry. Not this one. There we go. Debuff, debuff, damage, damage, and that leaves us with this one attack here that Ryoku can most likely not deal with it, so we're going to have her use First for the Flame, which is cheap, and deal with it. So, first goes Rhodia. Rhodia is going to win that clash no matter what, because it's a negative coin Eagle. So if he can't beat the base power, even if she rolls tails, she is going to do. One-sided Crow's Eye View, that's 2 power down. Stab him, Yi Sang, please. If you look at that, 2 power down. And now Gregor comes in with Ledgerdane, smacking with that apple. Boom! He now has 2 power down and 4 paralysis. Comes in the clash, he can't do shit. We win the clash. Comes in the second clash with Regret, which would have won normally, but can't do shit. Look at that power down. Completely nullified. That's a clash, and then the rest of the attacks. Since, again, now the important part I was talking about, he has two body parts. The part that was staggered was the head, not the body. The body is still doing its attack despite the fact that the head got staggered. So, the clash with Ryo should still go through. And my cigar is over, but fret not! I have another one! Today is my smoking day and I did save up for this. And now we get a free damage turn. Look at that. The most important thing for Limbus, in my opinion, to learn is what I just did. Utilizing debuffs, utilizing speed, and just modifying who's gonna clash and who's gonna do what first, so that you can give the advantage to your allies as the clashes go on. And the system sort of incentivizes that by ego resonance, sin affinity resonance. As you recall, when you have various attacks of the same affinity, the longer your chain of affinity, the more offense level the skills later into the chain get. This is another reason why the middle is so fucking powerful. The middle is as powerful as it is because, hold on, there we go. We don't care now. He's gonna die. He has so little HP. The middle is so powerful because they all use the same sin affinity, so they form a full chain of pure purple. When you form absolute resonance, which is several colors in a row, every skill later into the chain as it progresses gain more offense level. So the final skills are going to hit harder and clash harder. And if you applied your debuffs at the beginning of the chain, the guys at the end not only are going to get the advantage because the enemy is debuffed, they are also going to get an advantage because you're using several of the same color. It's not a huge modifier, mind you, but it's a great modifier nonetheless. Too much offense level. We're going to struggle for this final part. And fuck off. Fuck off. Come on. Come on, man. True Blood Fiend packs. And one of them is, this is gonna be, I think this is a game over for this thing. This thing can clash that hard, as we have seen. And these guys are gonna be giga buffed. They are powerful. In next experience, they also can't clear it, because we're gonna have to deal with the big lady. Oh man, this is stinky. This is stinky. And this is a situation like yesterday when it was a stinky that we got some real cinema out of it. Dulcinea is such a pain in the ass to fight. And we can't re-roll because rules of the dungeon, so let's do La Mancha Land reopening. I don't want to deal with the trio. Oh, stinky fight that we're gonna get into. Hello there. Where is it? I don't want to fight on 4-5. We really didn't get lucky with any offense level reduction. That's why we have to spam egos. We still have, you know, Dante if you want to, you know, get the offense level down and up. Because Rules of the Dungeon does not prevent me from using ego Dante powers. Here we go. Time to supper. We didn't get any, I don't think we got any ego gift at lower offense level right now. Yeah, we didn't get any that lower offense level or raise our own. Well, we do have a few of them, but they're not great. I already got a stagger from Gregor. Oh, oops, all hopeless. Oops, all hopeless. And this is where the whole thing I was talking about from offense, the defense skills can kind of weak, especially on the dungeon, because if I were to use a counter with her here, she's gonna get hit by a lot. She sure gets to hit the guy back, but she hit for so low that it's really not worth it. I'd rather just use an eagle. If I have the option to use an eagle, I'm gonna use an eagle. Because why wouldn't I? That's the better question. If the defense skills were stronger, I would consider them over an eagle, but as it stands, they are not, except for the middle or the Etzirodion. Thankfully, we have plenty of Burn Eagle to synergize with our team, but that, yeah. And again, this is an advantage of having several sinners in one team rather than being at a number disadvantage with a solo duo or trio. We have plenty of resources, we have plenty of eagles at our disposal. I haven't updated this of tier 4 yet. I should do tier 5, I mean. I should do that. You know what? After this dungeon is done, we're gonna take a look at that. Yeah, true things to look at after the dungeon is over. You gotta look at modern ID compared to an older ID and uptie that. Also, I think there's new Dante's note that I haven't looked at it yet. Punch! Ooh, look at the perfected Death Fist. That rolls so high and it's so powerful. Such power on that fist. It is a perfected Death Fist. Wow. Very good.
순식간에 끝내죠.
Nope. Slice it and dice it.
제가 묻었네요.
Burn! Burn to the ground! Burn! Burn! Burn them all! Burn! Keep the burn going! Apply the burn to deal more burn, and burn with the burn! And more burn! Indicate trial, go! The funny ducks shall be made their presence known! This is a funny. I want to see the abnormality for this, man. Ducks! There's the funny ducks! Pretty flambo, aren't ya? Oh man, you walked in a bad place, huh? You walked in a bad place of town, buddy. A bad place of town. Look at the perfected palm strike where he barely lifted the guy into the air. Again, older unit did a touch-up. They already did a touch-up for the base units when they released, I don't remember which Kanto was that. I think it was Kanto 8, where the base units, the LCB tuners, gained a visual upgrade. They should do that for the older IDs because they're not very good. Ooh. Go over here.
벌써 화끈하네.
Ah, it's the Blood Fiends, and they have counters, baby. Counters in an unfocused battle like this are a pain in the ass because it's very difficult to take care of them because you have to use defensive skills to offset them. So that. attack set. There we go. 2 attacks only. Everyone just stood there and watched. No more counters. They gain offense level up and they gain fragile. Here we go to the welcome to the hopeless channel, where every clash is hopeless. Except we have 4th match flame and a few eagles to go through. We're getting lots of burn here, we're getting lots of materials. We're gonna use our eagles, why not? Been forever since I had the displeasure of fighting blood fiends. Come here. You dared, you little beast. Got your little beast. Look over here. Oh, I love you, little beast. You little green beast. Oh, you're so cute. Punch! 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 Critical ego! One of the reasons why I wish there was a pack that is just like, think it like this. Instead of, you know, popping in and out of battle, I wish some of the Mirror Dungeon packs were just, you enter a battle, you fight a few waves, and then you, there's a brief stop between the waves where you get to do like a, you know, one of these, the mystery packs where you have to make a choice for abnormality. And then the fight continues, because every time we enter a new fight, we're forced to reactivate eagles for passives, if you're planning on using them. And it just kind of breaks the flow of combat, honestly. That's why I love the new XP Luxcavation, where you can do like 10 waves of enemies and just have your sinners fully ramp up in power as they keep fighting. It's just fun, it's just nice. Alright, now they have multiple skill slots and counters. Homo doesn't have a bird eagle, that's funny. You think that a boy that is supposed to be wrathful, which he is supposed to be angry, he was just being a little shit about it, he would have some bird eagle, but he doesn't. Fyodor Blossom Star still clashing like a motherfucker since season 1.
저지하기엔 턱없이 모자르지. 화격검 끝내 전수하리.
I sincerely hope it's not Dulcinea and the end of this pack, man. Because Dulcinea is such a pain in the ass to fight with the bleed application on hit. On us hitting her.
날 풀린 것 같습니다.
Kill her! Alright, let's see what we got here. Pierce and Focus Fight. I can go for the Focus Fight. Do Buddha statue. I'll take the brass ring, thank you. It's useless. No, that's Bloody Gadget. That's actually pretty good. But we already have Bloody Gadget, so it doesn't matter. Alright, what are we gonna encounter here, I wonder? Alright, let's see what we got here. 1 second. Alright, abnormalities are a little easier to handle. They don't have that crazy numbers. I can debuff them before they get started, and throw it out there, and there we go.
화병검. 끝내. 정수하리.
So I'm talking to someone here over my Discord. I gotta finish this real quick. See, continuing on with our burning of the abnormalities, burning of the Peccatula. By the way, I managed to adapt the Peccatulas into the tabletop mastery, and they are doing a fantastic job. I like the way they turned out to be. They don't have super crazy high numbers, but that's just enough for the tabletop. They're dangerous enough, but not so overly so. Alright, oh, a block? This is a focus encounter. I don't have to interact with your block or your counter. I can just kill your friends. But since a block is no problem, we're gonna ignore the counter altogether. Guy down. Easy peasy.
균형이 무너졌군요.
One thing that I'm excited about the future of Limbus is Canto 10, of course, yes. But more to the fact that when I started streaming here on this channel, I started with Canto 9 because it just came out. And it just so matched the whole idea of like, alright, let's play some, let's start with Limbus. Limbus, I like it, I like it as I play, and the new Canto is coming out. Maybe I can like use the new Canto as a springboard to get some, you know, some following here on YouTube. Don't know if that worked because my first streams were atrocious. Do not ever go look at my older streams unless you want to suffer. Or do and learn more G4 lore and how shitty my ability to record and stream was back then. But still, it was an important lesson in learning how to stream, to make the streaming of things. So maybe go, maybe don't. Probably don't. Don't actually do it. It's really bad. I'm not joking. But now that Canto 10 is right around the corner, kind of, I will be most excited to stream it. And since it's going to be voiced, I don't have to read the entire thing, so it might go a little faster. Because one of the problems with intervalos that are not voiced is a lot of you put the string on another screen or somewhere else while you're doing your own mirror dungeon, which is very nice, so we can do mirror dungeons together. The only problem is that, you know, I don't think most of you speak Korean, I'm not gonna assume, but reading the whole thing out loud does create a problem. Like, oh, I'm gonna have to read the entire thing and not get into the meaty potato of it.
부드럽.
But that's fine. And I'm very excited for Keto 10 regardless. Also excited for the LobCorp rerun that we're gonna do soon. As well as for the Library of Ruina one. I'm gonna keep my notepad very close to me. And I'm going to mark down every scrap of lore that I might be missing. We're gonna read all of the abnormality logs. We're gonna read all lines of dialogue. We're gonna take notes, baby. We're gonna pay attention. We're gonna see everything that might have missed my eyes the first time I played those games. Because I want to know. I wish to learn. Burn for me, Picatola.
불타올랐군요.
It burns bright, brother. It burns real bright. Ah, you have low speed and we have high speed. That means if you're gonna clash against Honglu, you're gonna have to tank all of these attacks before the actual clash goes through. That means you're probably gonna die or get staggered. Not necessarily in that order. Pop! Pop it like a zit. And now to the shop we go, hoping and praying that we can get something good out of it. Maybe a tier 4 gift for Burn. Maybe a craftable gift. Who knows? We're about to find out, because I don't like the odds of that. Polarization, hell yeah. Let's fuse for Burn. I'll bleed Burn. No condition to go for Burn. Burning Intellect, very nice. Now let's see. We don't use charge, so we can sacrifice that. We don't need that. We didn't get any money gifts, did we? Damn. Oh, Daniel! That's for Pierce, if enemies killed. We're gonna be fighting a boss, so we're not gonna be killing a lot of enemies. Ardent Flower. Yo, give you a keyword refresh for Burn. We got the Millennial Heart Stew Flame. Anything that we can fuse? No, not yet. Another, oh there, Fury down, that's important. Need another Burn reroll. We got Pain of Cycle Rage. That's not really what we want, but what can you do? Let's see. Let's see. Healing important. Clash power. Defense level down. Healing. Ego. Power. We just got shit out of luck for gifts, man. Yeah, the Leo Association kind of fumbled today on their luck roll for gifts, man. We are kind of stinky right now. Kind of stinky. Right, let's see. Let's put those skills to the test. La Mancha Land reopening. Final fight. 4-5. Rose of the Dungeon active. The Leo Association. No healing, no revives. It is... Nicolina! That is my salvation. And she starts with offense level down, 25 offense level down. That's very nice. Let's pop her eagles right away, because we want to burn her to the ground. Our strategy is very simple. If she can burn, she will burn. Oh, the Scourges! Roll! Action! I really like the song. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I like it. It's cool. I think it fits the character perfectly too. I do like Nicolina a lot. She has a bomb-ass design. It's a shame she died. Oops, spoiler. It's also one of the characters with most skin exposed, and it's like in a tasteful way too. It's like a cool-ass dress. The beak mask also adds a lot to it. It's just a great design all around, man. And unfortunately, you have Sanity, Nicolina. That means Midwinter Nightmare is gonna be your nightmare. Say goodbye to your sanity. 99.9999999. Are you still over your? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Hopeless. Ah. Let's pop that ego. Hopeless for him as well. Let's see if someone else had. Hopeless. 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 Oh, hopeless. Oops. Let's punch you again with the Fire Fist of Fury. Who's being targeted by this? Who's being targeted by this? That is Mercil. Mercil, go deal with that, please. Leave that attack to someone else. Land of Illusion. That leaves one attack being targeted at... We're not faster than her, that's the problem. Gregor! Good boy, you are here, Gregor. You can help us. And that leaves 2 attacks to go unopposed against her clashable counter, which I'm confident they will be able to beat. And mind you, these attacks are hopeless when she has negative 45 SP. That means her base power plus offense level are so high that she can beat our sinners on max SP clashing against her. Now it's your turn! Unbreakable coin! Wah! And now you're paralyzed. Even sharper. Ah, she's going all in for our boy Mercil. How concerning. I hate spamming eagles like this, but we're gonna have to do it. These characters have no escalation. They are all standard fare characters. They are really, really bad. This half of this team is double OIDs. They are really, really bad. Not bad in a funny way either. It's just bad. Bad, bad, bad. There we go. Favored, 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 favored. Mercil, punch her again. Don't know, don't care. Punch. And you get a free attack. Actually, do you gain clash power against enemies that are targeted by the thing? Clash power plus 5! Haha! There it is! Can't let that slide. Can we? No sir, no how. There we go. Mercil attack for free. Very similar to a lot of mechanics that we've seen before. Mark target receives a lot of clash down. To remain oneself.
흐릿한 드와 곱게 접은 종이에 번졌으니 식구의 하늘 용태와 빈 별을 남았구나. 끝내 전수하리.
불태워라. 끝끝내 뼈조각 하나
Quack, 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 quack. The burning ducks. I have honestly no idea what this eagle does. I never read it. Sweet. Eagle blast. First stagger threshold rapidly approaching. What do you mean rapidly approaching? It's gonna trigger right now. Even if this attack doesn't stagger her, the burn will, because burn staggers. Burn. One thing that we did get lucky, again, we're using a full team. We have like 7 sinners on the field. We got the Eagle Resource gift, so we can spam Eagles. Even if we didn't get the offensive level down effects, we can use Eagles, even though it's costing a lot of sanity. But being a Liu team and with Yisang on the field, he does recover sanity for sinners that can inflict burn damage, so it's very nice. How is your health doing when you stagger? Does that work for you as well? No, your standard threshold is not showing. Why not? Ah, there we go. There we go, we can click on it. That is such a good find, man. Current HP, staggers at 1300. Very nice. That's very nice. I like that a lot. That is so cool. So cool, brother. She is slow as balls. And we need to deal just a little bit of damage. Can we stagger her before that? I don't think we can do 500 damage. We can try. Hopeless. Struggling. Mercil, beat her. Mercil, punch her. Come on, Mercil. Hit her with a punch. Lower that sanity of hers. Come on, brother. You know you can do that. Caverna's wailing. And fourth match flame, why not? You know, I'll neutral. Well, Dimension Shredder. Dimension Shredder always gets the job done. I can always counter that. Come on, Mercil. Give her the 102 with a flaming fist of fury. Boink, boink, punch. Not the most exciting match, to be honest. This kind of pales in comparison to yesterday's stream with the Chunoko and Honglu. But hey, we played the dungeon with the gifts that we managed to obtain along the way, and what we managed to obtain was a lot of Eagle resource generating gifts. So let's use them while we have them. Dimension Shredder. It shreds. Snip. Flame cleave. Stagger time, baby. Damage time. What is it? Damage number. Yeah. I don't think that was gonna kill her, but we're sure as hell gonna try. That sure as hell didn't kill her. We didn't do any damage. That was good damage. And burn. That's 200 damage. She is likely to die. 400 damage. Can we deal 400 damage? I don't think so. But even if she does like send like a barrage of attacks against us, she will get 200% burn at the next turn. Fourth back power up. Ooh, I forgot. Low sanity for her is bad. She gains bind, but she gains a shit ton of power ups. Ooh. Well, we know what it is. I'll cut you together. No, you won't. The rodeo is coming. It ain't happening. The rodeo is coming. That's right. I never pegged the Liu team to be an ego spammy team, but here we are. Ego spamming. Like there was no tomorrow, baby. Ain't you faster? Even with 2 binds, she's already outpacing us. We're at the end of the dungeon. I think we're gonna do enough damage with these attacks. And we are faster than her by some degrees, so there's no reason to try all that hard here, but for the sake of, gameplay, I am going to try as hard as I can. Let's see. Attacks are coming for you. This one. You know what it is with him, Pote, Puncher. Here is you. You do not lose clashes because of Arson Barson Blossom Blar. Yes, that's right. English, I know English. The Barson Blossom Bar is the most powerful ego out there, the Barson Blossom Bar. I'm just speaking words right now. And there we go. Good enough. Oh, she also has a shit ton of bleed because we have the... What's it called? Rusted muzzle. That wasn't as bad as it could have been, honestly. If it was Dulcinea, we might have been screwed. But Nicolini is a lot easier than Dulcinea because Dulcinea has that annoying shield that gives you bleed and activates it every time you hit her. To remain oneself, she gets slashed by a big dragon to finish the fight.
곱게 접은 종이에 던졌으니 식구의 하늘 용태여 빈
Well, not really. There we go. Yisang finished her up. Very nice. Well, that is it for the daily dungeon. No ID study today. It's the Liu. There is really not much to talk about. They managed to clear it with the rules of the dungeon active. They're not a very good team, man. They're not a very good team. Their IDs are very outdated. So let's get back to our Sinner and take a look at all the stuff that we were supposed to look. So Isaac, if you're still around, we're going to do that look at the modern ID compared to an older one. And also see Dante's notes. There's that. And then we're going to read our lovely, lovely book. Right, here on Sinners. Delete this thing, because I don't want to play with Leo anymore. All identities. Sort by recent. Sort it out. So, first ID that we got was Chi Association South Section 5, Ishmael. It is a ID of all time. She does not have any escalation on her attacks. She does have a coin reuse, which is very powerful, very nice. But let's take a look. 344, 11 roller, no escalation. 544, a 13 roller, no escalation, but it can use the coin 1 and 2 in additional time if she is on less than 50 HP. So this becomes a 4, 4, 4, 4 plus 5. So 16 plus 5. So it's already out-rolling as some modern IDs as well, but it required her to be low HP. Finally, Catch Breath. It's a 12, 18 roller, very weak. This is the literal first ID you get. Everyone gets this ID. Everyone has her. If we were to compare her to a more recent ID, say, let's go with something simpler like really anyone here who fit the bill, but I will go with Yisang as an example. Yisang here rolls a 3-4-4. That's an 11 roller. But unlike her, for example, she has, where is it? Coin power for every 6 points on self or sinking on target to a maximum of 2. So it rolls 11, 13, 15. Very nice. Compared to the first ID in the game where she rolls a 11 with no escalation, that's already mogging her. But you will see these gain coin power based on something in almost every single modern ID nowadays. Skill 2, it's a 16 roller, 4 base power, 3 coins of 4 coin powers. That's 16, baby. It also has the gain coin power maximum of 2. So it goes 16, 19, and then at 22. 22? 19, 21, sorry, 21. And the skill tree usually tend to differentiate a lot. it has a 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. That is a 12 plus 4. That's a 16 roller base, but it gains coin power for poison itself and some other stuff as well. It doesn't really roll that high, but it has more coins, so it hits more times and deals more damage. We're not gonna talk about the Furioso in the room here, but if you look at another ID, they're gonna have similar numbers as well, like Gregor here. 11 roller, gains coin power based on charge total. 16 roller, gains coin power based on charge potency total for a +1 and a +2. Third skill, same thing, it's a 444, that's a 12, +5, 17, but it gains more coin power and usually has more stuff to gain more coin power. This is the standard that we're seeing nowadays for IDs. Everyone has an 11 roller that gains power based on something, 11 roller that gains power based on something, 16 roller that gains power based on something, etc, etc. So 11, 16, and then whatever for skill tree because they're special. If you go for Chunokun, the latest one, same thing. He's a little bit more powerful because he has more coins but less base power. He is still an 11 roller, but he gains coin power if the target has a bleed or he has poise, which makes it stronger because he has more coins. Same thing here. 16, 12 plus 4, 16, gains coin power based on poise, bleed, etc. We see these claws of gaining coin power on every modern ID that we see nowadays. The IDs of yesteryear, the IDs of old, usually do not have that extra coin power. For example, this 00 ID Pequod First Mate still rolls an 11, it rolls a 12 here, and it rolls a 16 on the tree. But that's a 00 ID. Let's look at something meatier, like, say, Lobotomy Eagle Regret. 11 roller, doesn't gain escalation. 16 roller with no escalation. This one is special because it's skill tree, same deal here. Look, Pequod Captain, 4, 8 plus a 12 roller, no escalation. 4, 16 roller with no escalation again. That is the main difference that we see about the older IDs and the modern ones. Modern ones follow the 11-16 pattern for skill 1 and 2, and skill 3 being special. But they all usually have something that will power them up based on certain circumstances. Blade Lineage Mentor, for example, gains coin power on having poise, but just a single hit of it. It still rolls an 11. Skill 2 rolls a 18 and it gains coin power. It's slightly stronger than a skill 2 for most IDs. And then we have Yield My Flash, which we already know how it works. If we look something a little bit more recent, but not that recent, for example, Wild Hunt Heathcliff. Wild Hunt Heathcliff still also rolls an 11 with his skill 1. He gains coin power based on sinking on target, so he has 2 levels of escalation. So he rolls an 11, a 13, and then a 15. Skill 2 has 9 plus 4, that's a 14, lower than the average, but he gains coin power based on sinking, 2 levels of escalation. So that 14 becomes a that 14 becomes a 17, and then it becomes a 20, and he has AoE too. Skill 3 rolls a 12 plus 6, that's an 18 plus whatever else it does. That is the main difference here. That is where gimmicks and offense levels make a difference. If you look back at Yi-Sang again compared to his older IDs, or House of Fighters again, his skills have a 62 offense level, 63, 64. He has a lot of damage ups, and Grace of the Prescript also gives him offense level. Not a lot, but some. But if you compare to an older ID, like, let's say Ifluorescent Eagle Spice Push. This one rolls nothing. It's a 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. That is a 6, that's a 9 with no escalation. This one rolls a 16, but it has 1 escalation, 1 coin power, which is something. Has a 63 offense level as well. The skill 1 has a 64 offense level. Yi-Sang House of the Spiders has 64 on his skill 3. His third skill has a 65 offense level, not to mention Sinking the Loot, but he has no escalation. The main difference between older IDs and modern IDs really is down to the escalation present on skills and the standardization of the 1116 model for skill 1 and skill 2, and as well as the power creep that comes from a lot of gimmicks, like Mark of the Prescript, or bullets for Merso, Leyhang, or etc, etc. Another thing that we're going to see before we get to the book is Dante's notes. There's new of them, there's new of them, there's new of them. A fluorescent ego. Ego manifests by one's own self rather than being extracted from abnormalities. Moses' pipe can alleviate mental strain through white smoke, and the scabbard Araya turned into can select which of Ryoshi's memories are cut off by the Arashki when she uses the blade. This leads me to believe that ego are not always combat-oriented. It's not. If anything is shared between extracted ego and the fluorescent ego is that they seem to take the form of weapons, armor, or tools, without exception. This seems to be where they differ most from distortion, which transforms and warps the human body. Sora, the index of pretense of the House Spider, said that one needs an unshakable conviction about what's good and evil to have fluoresce their ego. When I think of Ahab and Dongrang, though, that conviction doesn't necessarily have to be right, I suppose. The ego bamboo-headed king of fluoresced at the end seems somewhat unstable. Does that mean he's still lacking conviction? Then how could he even manifest one to begin with? Ishmael conjectured that while Kin may still lack a conviction of his own and is mired in fear and anxiety, is slowly taking steps towards the direction he chose, and that may have helped manifest his ego. So perhaps the person whose fluorescence is unstable might someday distort again once they have devoured by conviction and anxiety instead of mastering them. Very nice. A nice little bit lore detail. Now, if you're here for gameplay about Limbus Company, we are true. We talked a lot about mechanics today. We talked a lot about stuff. We're gonna do our nerd shit. We're gonna read Crime and Punishment now. I'm gonna get myself some water and I will be right back. And in the meantime, I'm gonna open up the book and mute Limbus. So I'll be just a moment. All right, I'm back. Let's get down with Crime and Punishment. Last time on Raskolnikov's Bizarre Adventure, he went to visit Porfiry Petrovich, the investigator responsible for the murder of the old lady, responsible for investigating it. Porfiry was acting all chummy and friendly, and he revealed the way that he uses to hound specific targets that are suspected to be criminals. And he said that smart people tend to be anxious and they don't try to escape because, you know, they get anxious, they think that someone is chasing or that he knows something about it and they don't. And they just let their anxiety eat them up from the inside. Something that hits Raskolnikov right in the nail as he has an anxious attack and start talking shit that he shouldn't be talking, but something happened. We are going to find out exactly what happened now, because Raskolnikov thinks that Porfirich knows. Porfirich hasn't said anything about it. He was being friendly, talking about how he deals with cases and all that, and Raskolnikov was having none of it. He didn't want to... yeah, you kind of missed the... Hello, Donis Canal. You kind of missed the string a little bit. So, let's get down and dirty with Crime and Punishment. Chapter 6, or Part 4. When he remembered the scene afterwards, this is how Raskolnikov saw it. The noise behind the door increased, and suddenly the door was opened a little. "Oh, what is it?" cried Porfiry Petrovich, annoyed. "I gave instructions." For an instant, there was no answer, but it was evident there were several persons at the door, and they were apparently pushing somebody back. "What is it?" Porfiry Petrovich repeated uneasily. The prisoner Nikolai had been brought," someone answered. "He is not wanted! Taken away! Let him wait! What is he doing here? This is entirely out of order!" cried Porfiry, rushing to the door. "But he," began the same voice, and suddenly ceased. 2 seconds, not more, were spent in actual struggle, when someone gave a violent shove, and then a man, very pale, strolled into the room. This man's appearance was at first sight very strange. He stared straight before him, as though seeing nothing. There was a determined gleam in his eyes. At the same time, there was a deathly pallor in his face, as though he were being led to the scaffold. His white lips were faintly twitching. He was dressed like a workman, and was of medium height, very young, slim, with a round haircut and thin, spare features. The man whom he had thrust back followed him into the room, and succeeded in seizing him by the shoulder. He was a warder. Nikolai pulled his arm away. Several people crowded inquisitively into the doorway. Some of them tried to get in. All this took place almost instantaneously. "Go away, it's too soon! Wait until you are sent for! Why have you brought him soon?" Porfiry Petrovich muttered, extremely annoyed, as if his plans had been upset. But Nikolai suddenly knelt down. "What's the matter?" cried Porfiry, surprised. "I am guilty! The sin is mine! I am the murderer!" Nikolai articulated suddenly, rather breathless, but speaking fairly loudly. For 10 seconds there was a silence, as though everyone had been struck dumb. Even the warder stepped back, mechanically retreated to the door, and stood motionless. "What is it?" cried Porfiry Petrovich, recovering from his momentary disbelief. "I am the murderer," repeated Nikolai after a brief pause. "Oh, what? You? Who did you kill?" Porfiry Petrovich was obviously bewildered. Nikolai again was silent for a moment. "Alyona Ivanovna, her sister Lizaveta Ivanovna, I killed with an axe. Darkness came over me," he added suddenly, and fell silent again. He remained on his knees. Porfiry Petrovich stood for some moment as though meditating, but suddenly roused himself and waved back the uninvited spectators. They instantly vanished and closed the door. Then he looked towards Raskolnikov, who was standing in the corner, staring wildly at Nikolai, and moved towards him, but stopped short, looked from Nikolai to Raskolnikov, and then again at Nikolai, and seeming unable to restrain himself, darted at the latter. "You're in too great of a hurry!" he shouted at him, almost angrily. I didn't ask you what came over you. Tell me, did you kill them?" "I am the murderer. I want to give evidence," Nikolai pronounced. "Ah, and what did you kill them with?" "An axe. I had it ready." "Ah, he is in a hurry. Alone?" Nikolai did not understand the question. "Did you do it alone?" "Yes, alone, and Mitka is not guilty and he had no share in it." "Ah, don't be in a hurry about Mitka. Aha! How was it that you ran downstairs like that at the time? The porters met you both." "It was to put them off the scent. I ran after Mitka," Nikolai replied hurriedly, as though he had prepared the answer. "I knew it," cried Porfiry with vexation. "It's not his own tale he's telling," he muttered as though to himself, and suddenly his eyes rested on Raskolnikov again. He was apparently so taken up with Nikolai that for a moment he had forgotten Raskolnikov. He was a little taken aback. "My dear Rodion Romanovich, excuse me!" He flew up to him. "This shouldn't have happened. I'm afraid you must go. It'll be no good if you stay. I will, you see, what a surprise. Come on, goodbye." And taking him by the arm, he showed him to the door. I suppose you didn't expect it?" said Raskolnikov, who thought he had not yet fully grasped the situation. He had regained his courage. "You did not expect it either, my friend. See how your hand is trembling?" "You're trembling too, Porfiry Petrovich." "Yes, I am. I didn't expect it." They were already at the door. Porfiry was impatient for Raskolnikov to be gone. "And you're a little surprised? Aren't you gonna show it to me?" Raskolnikov said sarcastically. "Why, his teeth are chattering as he asks." "You have a real sense of irony. Come on, until we meet again." "I believe we can say goodbye." "That's in God's hands," muttered Porfiry with an unnatural smile. As he walked through the office, Raskolnikov noticed that many people were looking at him. Among them, he saw the two porters from the house, whom he had invited that night to the police station. They stood there waiting, but he was no sooner on the stairs than he heard the voice of Porfiry Petrovich behind him. Turning round, he saw the latter running after him, out of breath. One word, Rodion Romanovich. As for the rest of it, it's in God's hand, but as matter of form, there are some questions I shall have to ask you. So we shall meet again, shan't we? And Porfiry stood still, facing him with a smile. Shan't we? He added again. He seemed to want to say something more, but could not speak out. You must forgive me, Porfiry Petrovich, for what has just happened. I lost my temper, began Raskolnikov, who had regained his courage to such an extent that he felt irresistibly inclined to display his coolness. Ooh. Don't mention it, Porfiry replied, almost gleefully. I myself, too, I have a wicked temper, I admit it. But we shall meet again. If it's God's will, we may see a great deal of one another. And we'll get to know each other properly? Added Raskolnikov. Yes, know each other properly, assented Porfiry Petrovich, and he screwed up his eyes, looking earnestly at Raskolnikov. Now, you're going to a birthday party? To a funeral. Of course, the funeral. Take care of yourself and get well. I don't know what to wish you, said Raskolnikov, who had begun to descend the stairs, but looked back again. I would like to wish you success, but your office is such a comical one. Why comical? Porfiry Petrovich had turned to go, but he seemed to prick up his ears at this. How you must have been torturing and harassing that poor Nikolai psychologically in that way of yours until he confessed. You must have been at it day and night, proving to him that he was the murderer. And now that he has confessed, you begin vivisecting him again. You're lying, you say. You are not the murderer. You can't be. It's not your own tale you're telling. You must admit it's a comical business. You noticed then that I said to Nikolai just now that it was not his own tale he was telling? How could I help noticing it? You are quick-witted. You notice everything. You've really a playful mind, and you always fasten on the comic side. They say that was the market characteristics of Gogol among the writers. Yes, of Gogol. Yes, of Gogol. I shall look forward to meeting you. So shall I. Raskolnikov walked straight home. He was so muddled and bewildered that when he got home he sat for a quarter of an hour on the sofa, trying to collect his thoughts. He did not attempt to think about Nikolai. He was stupefied. He felt that his confession was something inexplicable, amazing, something beyond his understanding. But Nikolai's confession was an actual fact. The consequences of this fact were clear to him at once. Its falsehood could not fail to be discovered, and then they would be after him again. Until then, at least, he was free and must do something for himself, for the danger was imminent. But how imminent? His position gradually became clear to him. Remembering sketchily the main outlines of his recent scene with Porfiry, he could not help shuddering again with horror. Of course, he did not know all Porfiry's aims. He could not see it all into all his calculations, but he had already partly shown his hand. And no one knew better than Raskolnikov how terrible Porfiry's lead had been for him. A little more, and he might have given himself away completely, circumstantially. Knowing his nervous temperament and seeing through him from the first, Porfiry, though playing a bold game, was bound to win. There was no denying that Raskolnikov had compromised himself seriously, but no facts had come to light as yet. There was nothing positive. But he was taking a true view. Was he taking a true view of the position? Wasn't he mistaken? What had Porfiry been trying to get at? Had he really some surprise prepared for him? And what was it? Had he really been expecting something or not? How would they have parted if it had not been for the unexpected appearance of Nikolai? Porfiry had shown almost all of his cards, of course, had risked something in showing them, and if he had really had anything up his sleeve, Raskolnikov reflected, he would have shown that too. What was that surprise? Was it a joke? Had it meant anything? Could it have concealed anything like a fact, a piece of positive evidence? His yesterday's visitor? What had become of him? Where was he today? If Porfiry really had any evidence, it must be connected with him. He sat on the sofa with his elbows on his knees and his face hidden in his hand. He was still shivering nervously. At last he got up, took his cap, thought a minute, went to the door. He had a sort of presentiment that for today at least he might consider himself out of danger. He had a sudden sense of almost of joy. He wanted to hurry to Katerina Ivanovna's. He would be too late for the funeral, of course, but he would be in time for the memorial dinner, and there at once he would see Sonia. He stood still, though, thought a moment, and a suffering smile came for a moment onto his lips. Today, he repeated to himself. Yeah, today, so it must be. But as he was about to open the door, it began opening of itself. He started and moved back. The door opened gently and slowly, and suddenly a figure appeared. Yesterday's visitor from under the ground. The man stood in the doorway, looked at Raskolnikov without speaking, and took a step forward into the room. He was exactly the same as yesterday, the same figure, the same dress, but there was a great change in his face. He looked dejected and sighed deeply. If he had only put his hands up to his cheek and leaned his head on one side, he would have looked exactly like a peasant would. "What do you want?" asked Raskolnikov, numb with terror. The man was still silent, but suddenly he bowed down almost to the ground, touching it with his finger. "What is it?" cried Raskolnikov. "I have sinned," the man articulated softly. I have had evil thoughts." They looked at one another. "I was worried when you came. Maybe you were drunk and told the porters to go to the police station and ask about the blood. I was worried that they let you go and thought you were drunk. I was so worried I lost my sleep. And remembering the address, we came here yesterday and asked for you." "Who came?" Raskolnikov interrupted, instantly beginning to remember. "I did. I've wronged you." "Then you came from that house?" "I was standing at the gate with them. Don't you remember? We have carried on our trade in that house for many years. We cure and prepare hides. We take work home. Most of all, I was worried." And the whole scene of the day before yesterday in the gateway came clearly into Raskolnikov's mind. He recalled that there had been several people there besides the porters, women among them. He remembered one voice had suggested take him straight to the police station. He could not recall the face of the speaker, and even now he did not recognize it. But he remembered that he had turned round and made him some answer. So this was the solution of yesterday's horror. The most awful thought was that he had been actually almost lost, had almost done for himself on account of such a trivial circumstance. So this man could tell nothing except the fact that he asked about the apartment and the bloodstains. So Porphyry, too, had nothing but that delirium. No facts but this psychology which cuts both ways. Nothing positive. So if no more facts come to light, and they must not, then what can they do to him? How can they convict him, even if they arrest him? And Porphyry then had only just heard about the apartment and had not known about it before. "Was it you who told Porphyry that I'd been there?" he cried, struck by a sudden idea. "What Porphyry?" "The head of the detective department." "Yes, the porters did not go there, but I went." "Today?" "I got there 2 minutes before you, and I heard it all, how he worried you." "Where? What? When?" "In the next room. I was sitting there all the time." "What? So you were the surprise? But how could that happen? It's unbelievable." "I saw the porters did not want to do what I said," began the man. "Because it's too late," they said, "and maybe he'll be angry that we didn't come at the time. I was anxious and I lost sleep over it. So I began making inquiries. When I found out yesterday where to go, I went there today. The first time I went, he wasn't there. When I came an hour later, he couldn't see me. So I went a third time, and they showed me in. I told him everything, just as it happened. And he started skipping around the room and punching himself on the chest. Why did you, oh horror, not tell me? If I'd known about it, I could have arrested him. Then he ran out, called somebody, and began talking to him in the corner. Then he turned to me, reprimanding and questioning me. He criticized me a great deal, and I told him everything. And I told him that you didn't dare to say a word in answer to me yesterday, and that you didn't recognize me. And he started running around again and kept on hitting himself on the chest and getting angry and running around. And when they announced that you were here, he told me to go into the next room. Sit there for a bit, he said. Don't move, whatever you hear. He put a chair there for me and locked me in. I may call you, he said. Perhaps. And when Nikolai had been brought, he let me out as soon as you were gone. I'll send for you and question you again, he said. And did he question Nikolai while you were there? He got rid of me like he got rid of you before he spoke to Nikolai. The man stood still and again suddenly bowed down, touching the ground with his finger. Forgive me for my evil thoughts and my slander. May God forgive you, answered Raskolnikov. And as he said this, the man bowed down again, but not to the ground, turned slowly and went out of the room. It all cuts both ways. Now it all cuts both ways, repeated Raskolnikov. And he went out more confident than ever. Now we'll make a fight of it, he said with a malicious smile, as he went down the stairs. His malice was aimed at himself. With shame and contempt, he recalled his cowardice. And that's where it ends. Short chapter. We're entering now part 5. But man, oh man, is Raskolnikov the luckiest motherfucker in the face of Russia? Because he went, he killed the lady, he killed the sister, he managed to get some loot, ran out, managed to hide from the guys that were banging on the door, managed to get out without no one seeing him, left no clue, because this is like, you know, olden days, there's no cameras or anything, left without leaving a clue, put the axe back in place, hid away the money, the stuff he got, cleared all the blood of him. Everyone thinks he was delirious during all that time, so that would work as an alibi. He then got a lot of money from... Not a lot of money. He got some money from his mother. He gave it away again because he was having a psychotic breakdown. And then he received a notice later on that he was going to receive a lot of money from Marfa Petrovna, the woman that died. And now that he was going there to confess to the detective that was hounding him with his psychology of making him more anxious, some guy rushes in saying, he did it, I killed her with an axe, the same weapon that Raskolnikov used. And then the guy that had suspicion that it was Raskolnikov went before to talk to the detective, saying that, hey, Raskolnikov was there doing something, and now the guy came and apologizes. Isn't he the luckiest motherfucker ever? Wow, it's just, everything's just lining up for him, and he's still having a psychotic breakdown, an anxious breakdown, because he is a guy with a conscience after all. But man, oh man. Well, again, this is why I want Rhodia to get a better Kanto, man. That Kanto 2 barely touched on anything of the book. She just did the killing of the moneylender, and the middle came in and punched everyone. It was bad, sure, but for the standards of the city, it's not really that bad. It's the city. That's a better adaptation could have been done. That's why Rhodia will get a better Kanto in the future. I am sure of it. There's so much to dig here in Crime and Punishment, man. In any case, that's it for today's stream. We did not an ID study, but we did our mirror dungeon. We did our book reading. Tomorrow we will see the new ID for Ishmael, and we're going to see the new ego as well, because I'm going to shard then. The time is up, right? But for today, that is all. I'd like to thank you all once again for being here with me. If you enjoyed the stream, please recommend it to your friends. But if you didn't, please recommend it to your enemies instead. If you want to give some support for the channel, please leave a like, a comment, a subscribe, a follow on Twitch, a follow on Twitter as well. I post stuff there sometimes. That is it for today. I will catch you all next time. Thank you all so much. Sweet kisses and goodbye.